let's get started here. This blank here is a blank of silver maple. I cut out a stump on Wednesday. We can leave the lights on for right now. And roughed it down to this point right here. Took about a half hour to get it to this point, so that'll save us a little time. But I'll go through how I did that. It started out as a blank, much like the blanks over here. You know, the two flat spots on the end, and I mount it with a screw chuck. This is mounted back on the screw chuck, so I'm going to true up this tenon here to get it running true again, and then flip it back around. But so that's where we're going to get started on this thing here. We'll get this trued up and go from there. If there's any questions throughout, holler out. If you can, hold them till the end. But you know, if I'm not explaining it right or you're not clear on something, just feel free to holler out. We'll take care of it. Okay, these gouges I'm going to be using, these are Michelson's gouge and handle, and I'm not sure you can turn a hat either without his grind, or I think it's very similar to maybe a David Ellsworth grind. You may get by with it, but you'll see when I start going up on the inside of the hat why I really like these. And I even started using them on my bowls, getting down this inside of the bowls. But anyway, here we go. You can see it's not quite true.
Do you want the back lights on?
Not that much. I won't need them off till I start filling them out. It's very important to get these running true. As you know, that's with the bowl. It's not too bad. Try and turn these down to about 330 seconds, maybe a little thinner. That's where Michelson started at. He's down, he does about 364 now. My one hat out there is the one with the curly maple in it. It's about 9.5 ounces. The other one's probably closer to 11 or 12, but I haven't been able to, or I guess I haven't been brave enough to try and go for 364. Maybe today, you never know. I start all of them on the screw chuck. And if anybody has seen his video, hat turning video, it's an older video. He hasn't made a new one of that. He said he had so much of the old ones left that it cost him so much money to produce that video. He was going to make a new one until he runs out of the old ones. But he used to not use this screw chuck when he mounts his hats, but now he does. So if you do watch his video, it's a little bit different than the way I do it here, but this is pretty much how he does it now, is the way I'm doing it today. Make sure this one's cleaned up also. I think I rough turned these on Thursday. Pretty wet wood. On these hats, the wetter the better. If you cut the tree today, started turning tomorrow, you'll get the most bend out of it that way. People ask me, well, do you steam them things? No. If the wood's green enough, it'll bend. Right now I'm just cleaning up this tenon so I can make sure it's running true. Ideally, I suppose it'd be better to have a stronghold chuck on this end too, but I don't have two stronghold chucks, and this one does just fine. As you'll see, it's going to be captured between the tailstock. That chuck there will not come off the hat now until it's done. I'll use this to make sure it's centered. Bottom up, get it running true again. Right now, you got to put a little bit of curve in this bottom. I'll be back around on this front side in just a second. Basically a shear scrape cut with this bottom point. Actually, really, it's not a scrape, it's a shear cut. just started doing this recently. Johannes makes mirror frames out of this part here to save the wood. Got it there. This nasty looking tool here is one of his tools he came up with. It's called the Quick Core. By God, it does the core quick. Main thing on using this, you want it on the center line, pointing down just a hair. You don't want it pointing up or it gets real aggressive. I'll probably get some shavings up on that light, I think.
Hey Mike, would you mind if we turned off the light so we can see the photo?
Absolutely, yeah, go ahead. I'm just eyeball here how far I want to go in with the drive about there. He does his hat rings, I think he goes about 10 1/4 inches out here. I'm not too concerned right now with that. It's, buy your mirror glass or whatever, so tell them to cut it whatever diameter I end up with there is what it's going to be. You don't want to go too shallow and mess your hat up, so 9, 9.5, 10, somewhere in there. That tucks under your arm. Shades on the tip. Don't want that. Stop. All right, I'm looking far enough there. Get out here so I don't go in too far. I know where it'll pop off there right here. Right there again. Hopefully when the two meet it just pops off. If it doesn't, something's wrong. Yes, it'll get wet again. Hear it spinning there, that chuck is tight. Good idea to check that every now to get on this wet wood. It was tight when I started. You don't want to go in too far, you screw up your crown of your hat, so I'm being overly cautious here. Okay, that's what we're shooting for. Oh, dang God. This might be a smaller hat.
You can do that with a guy.
You make one for the ladies, right, Mike?
Yeah.
That was your intent all along.
Yeah, I've used the McNaughton, if you got McNaughton coring tools with a straight cutter, I've used that before also. Alright, let's see how bad I went here. This is just a regular half-inch bull gouge here, I'm just going to rough it out with it. My ruler. Dang. See what I got left there. Waste this piece of nice green wood. Yeah, it's about 5/8, okay. We're gonna make it a little smaller. It won't be a completely full-size hat, but you'll get the idea. Now, that's one of the reasons I really didn't core out the mirror frames. I've done like, I think that was my third one there, so I'm still learning too. Now I want to go back out to the brim. not be able to use my light chuck on this one that small. That's what I want you to see. You know what? That's the reason I bought 3 blanks. Sorry for this little delay. I'll use that one. It's already cored off. And we'll get right back to this point right here.
Are there woods that you like particularly? You like this vehicle, for instance?
The lighter the woods are, you'll see when I go to thin it, the light shines through them a lot better. I mean, you can do walnuts, you can do cherries, just the light doesn't shine through enough. You got to keep stopping and measuring. It takes you a little longer, but yeah, I mean, these maples turn good. Now this is ash here.
Come on in.
This is plan B.
Take 2. Delete that first part, Pat.
Maurice, I lost track of you. You still around?
Hey, Mike, one question that I noticed that you did, and I've never seen it before, you took the tailstock and ran it right up into the chuck.
Yep.
Aren't you worried about stripping the threads when you do that, when it's riding on that, or?
No, because it doesn't hit the threads.
It doesn't?
No, it hits out in here.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Okay, David, notice the look on one field.
Yeah, probably
Okay.
got more than
This way.
Now, Mike, where is that coring jig that you were using? Where did you buy that at?
That's Michelson's.
Is that Michelson?
Yep.
Yeah, Michelson, yeah.
Why don't you just turn it and take that ring off?
I'm sorry?
Why don't you just turn it down to that shape?
I'll show you the side. First, I gotta get this side running true too. I gotta true up this chuck face. And then,
I don't understand why you cut that big ring.
oh, no, you can't turn it down like that. I'm gonna make a mirror out of it, use it for a mirror frame. That's all. But yeah. And that's what I used to do. I never used to turn on frames. Now I might know why. Yeah, at home it worked really good. Whoops. Yeah. Get that sucker off. Of course, everything works better at home, right?
I understand. That's
And again, as you all know, very important to get that chuck registered flat against that face. Okay, now we're back where it should have been. All right, check this side one more time.
He did that in record time.
Look, you guys see me get that ring off there?
Yeah.
So what kind of wood is that, Mike?
This is ash. And this ash tree came out of my backyard. It was cut down about a year ago, February. Yeah, last year in February. I left to have them leave it in 8-foot log forms, and it was probably 2-3 foot diameter. And I just cut this chunk out of it on Wednesday. It's not as wet as that maple, but it should be wet enough. So, okay, now at this point here, if you're making this hat to fit somebody's head, you got to establish the outside of the crown of the hat at the band. Okay, the outside. So to do that, use a Curvex ruler, wrap it around your customer's head, take her down, set it on a piece of paper, draw that ovalness. Okay? Then, you got this ovalness, you measure across here, and the distance here, divide that by 2. Okay? Divide it in half. Then, to that measurement, you add a 1/4 inch for wood shrinkage, another 1/4 inch for the thickness. The hat at the band will be about an 1/8 inch thick, so you got an 1/8 on each side, so there's your other 1/4. And then you might want to add a 1/16 just for fudge factor. Okay? And that's how you establish the outside OD at the band. So then, cover up a ruler. You set your calipers to that dimension. This one I'm going to go, I'll just go 8 inches unless somebody wants me to measure their head and buy this hat off the club. Okay, there's my 8 inches. So, at that point right there, that one. I can take that crown down to that size all the way down there. Then, okay, it's going to be 8 inches. So then the top of the hat, rule of thumb is 2 inches less than what the dimension is at the band. Okay, so this one I'll make about 6 inches, maybe a little bit less at the top of the hat. And then we'll discuss it further on the tallness of the crown. For this style hat, you want it to be right around 5 inches, maybe a little bit under 5 inches. Much more than that, it doesn't look right, it's too tall. See, I'm still taking it out, so I can take some more of that. That's close. I'm not going to get it the final shape just yet. I'll rough this out a little bit here. Let's set these. I'm going to go 5 3/4. Top. cover him up, or should I shield him? If anybody's interested, it's about 700 RPM. I'll go to maybe 700, 800. You got trash can you hold up, Paul? That way we won't have to clean up. Probably got that. About my final thickness there, so I'll work on the rest of the shit. Here's another critical measurement here. This is my finished edge out here, and if you look straight in from that edge into the crown of your hat, you want the crown of the hat to be about 5/8 of an inch above this. Okay, so as you can see, I got to bring this crown way down into here. That's good. That'll give me more height. Does that make sense? If you go more than that, it drops it too much, and it doesn't bend right. Got a little rambunctious right there. So before I do any more shape, that's why I didn't do this to final shape, because I got to drop this down. I'd have to do it all over again if I had this to final shape. starting it coming out of the crown, sloping down about a 15-degree angle, and then it kind of straightens out a little bit and then goes back into the curve. So like maybe a third, and a third. Third up curve, third kind of flattening out, and then back up into the crown. And I'm about right at my 5/8 right there. See that distance from there to my ruler. That's about the right amount of drop, so now I'm just going to work on that curvature there. And that's critical to get it to bend right and look right. I'm going to kind of shear stroke this, or shear cut it. Get it to final thickness till I turn it around. I'll go up from the bottom side. And once you start on that, you can't go back out, because once it starts drying at that outer edge, it'll start warping on you. Yeah, we can see. Here, let me put the link to the light. Right there, that's pretty close to my final thickness, so we don't move that along. Quick edge on this, dude. This is Michelson's jig for putting his grind back on it. His jig's similar to Ellsworth's jig, where it registers on the bottom of your tool. So, you know, with the one-way jig, it registers on the top, and when you run out of flute for it to register on, you either got to grind a flat on your steel so it'll fit on there. His is on the bottom, so you can grind this baby all the way back. So it's real simple grind using his fixture. He used to do this freehand, and he claimed he couldn't make a jig to put his grind on. So he never tried. students that were taking his hat class, they couldn't replicate his hand gun because the one used to do it. And they basically begged him to come up with a fixture, and he did. It works really good. I'll do my other one while I'm stopped. Does anybody have any of these tools or ground like this?
Hey Gerald, while he's sharpening up, you want to give your little intro this afternoon?
Sure. I'm from the Indiana Club in South Yarrow, and we're having a ladies meeting this afternoon from the WIN crew, the Women in Charging Group, if you've heard of them. What they are is a way to get more women involved. What they're not is exclusive. So if guys want to come, you don't turn anybody away. But a lot of times it's hard for most of you guys, a lot of them are married. A woman walks up to you and says, oh, I really love that, how do you do that? You can't say, hey, come to my house, I'll show you my basement. You know what I mean? So, that's part of the impetus for the women in turning group. Not that we don't like you guys,
curls.
but, you know. So if you have any women that might want to try it this afternoon, they'll get an opportunity to give it a try. 1 o'clock, same place.
Since I'm sharp again, I'll do one more.
Yes, this one.
That light just well, no, so you can see it was right up there. Okay. So now, set these back to 8 inches. And reshake my crown and we'll turn it around and do the filling part. We'll get them on top. 10 o'clock. Okay, there's my 8 inch, so I'll just take that on down to the crown now. This one I may wet down a little bit. This isn't as wet as that maple. That maple I wouldn't have had to. Top of the hat. Looking at it straight on, it didn't look right. Looking at it from the side, it looked fine. So you got to keep that in mind. You want to err on the side and maybe take a little more out here, so when you bend it, it's it's not smaller than the top. Try to get this as smooth as I can, so I'm not going to do as much as sanding here today. See what that looks like. Okay. So I'm going to take that out. I think Johannes says 3 fingers of bulge, 3 fingers of swale, and then the top. So we're close. Now, I'm going to sand just on this band just a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and burnish the band right now. Michelson does it last. That's the very last thing he does. But I've found that, especially using the first light chuck, the cone, neoprene cone that it slipped on, the hat was warping, so it wasn't round, and you got skippies in there, you got mist spots when you tried to burnish it. So I've been doing them now, and it burnishes well, and it even helps you when you're doing the inside, because you can, when you turn it thick or thin to the lighter, you can see that burnished part actually in the band. You kind of know where you're at right there. Right there, going inside the crown, that's really critical, and you can get into trouble right there. What I mean by that is turning the brim off of the hat. You end up with a, yes, yes. What we're calling a Aladdin Shriner's hat. Once you burnish this band, you can't go back and sand it for you. I'm just doing it with 120, and I've found that even once you finish the hat, if it's a little bit rougher at the band, so what? It's a design feature. Okay. Woods I like to use is, this is a piece of ebony and a piece of bloodwood. Who was asking? Somebody was asking about that. How you get the color in there. And what you want to do, I've already done it at home, is this has got to be fresh wood. And once I burnish it, I can go with a piece of sandpaper, 80 grit, and get a fresh piece of wood on there. So I'm just going to do a little line here. Line there. Fill it in with bloodwood. On these,
Yeah, just hold it right underneath.
it's just ground almost to a point, because that's where you need the pressure from the point. You don't want to do it sideways on there. It needs pressure to heat up and burnish. See how that's burnished it dark? I don't know if you can see it.
There you go.
But that's, it's dark there, so now if I want to use it again, I'd go to a piece of sandpaper and just rub it on. Okay, folks, I think we're ready to turn this dude around.
Actually, the light's just about there.
Well, it ain't gonna be there. You'll see where it's at.
And this whole time, it's held with a screw chuck and
No, right now it's in the expansion mode on this Talon chuck. Okay, I'm gonna turn around and be mounted on this stronghold chuck from here on out. Now I'll be here, and I'm going around and going straight up on the inside. This light just stay right here. In fact, put this at all. Lots of crap laying around. Don't let me forget my my life cell. Oh, yeah, I'll use it again at the end. Just a little bit on the outside here.
Diamond roller, pattern roller, have it on there, then burn it.
just take one hand and
Turn these off.
Yeah, you just take them out of there.
Yeah. Thank God you had it, Justin.
Diamond, have a little deeper.
Oh, okay.
That's not so bad. That's good there.
Same difference.
And the wetness of the wood also helps that light shine through, so if it starts drying on you, it won't shine through as well.
Very thin piece of metal.
3:30 seconds.
Well, it depends on the grain. I'd like to try it. Never had it experience.
And this way, there's not much, if any, end grain. When I start going up around this curve, that light will get brighter. You think you're going too thin, but you're not, because you get more light shining through every 2 rotations when the end grain comes around. And especially true up, the whole inside of this hat's going to be a lot brighter than out here. When I first started doing these, I had a tendency to leave them too thick going up inside the hat, because I was turning into the same brightness of the light. It has to get brighter or you're too thick. Now, if you watch Michelson do this, he does this with it running, and I'm just scared to death to do that with that thing running. But that's how he gauges the thickness. If the caliper's grabbed and wants to drop down, he knows it's too thick. But he just sits there. Like I say, I'm a sissy. I'm afraid to do that. Now, here's the other thing, when I first started doing these and watching his video, you really couldn't see how he was presenting the gouge to the wood. And as you see there, I was going in this way using the bottom wing, just doing clearing cuts. And it looked to me like he was doing that shear scrape cut all the way up in there, but he wasn't. With this grind, and you wouldn't do this with a regular bowl gouge, and I know that flued up's a no-no. Flued up, guess what, cutting with that wing right there is how he goes in like that, and it almost cuts like a skew. You get a nice smooth cut. And he says shear scraping or shear cutting on the inside's a big no-no. The wood doesn't like it. Now, I'll do that to smooth out, you know, my cuts in there, and it's just fine. But yeah, originally that's how I thought he was doing the whole thing, but he wasn't until I watched him in person. And like I said, I don't think you could do that with a regular gouge.
Question, how do you go about sizing right now? Like, if you're gonna make your cut, how do you go, like everybody has a different head size, how do you go about your sizing at this point?
It's already established. Apparently you weren't here for the very beginning or when I did that. Use the Curvex ruler. Did you do it for that part?
No, I missed that.
Okay. So I'm sizing it for somebody's head. And you can, if you got big calipers, you can just measure with calipers and do the same thing, which that would work. Do this. Squeeze them together, take it off, lay that down on a sheet of paper, draw the inside. Okay? Take your ruler, measure this distance, measure the biggest distance, divide it by 2. Okay? So let's just, say this was 8 inches, this was 6 inches. Okay? You know, half of that's 7. So then you add a 1/4 inch for wood shrinkage to the 7. Add another 1/4 inch for you got an 1/8 inch thickness here at the band on each side, so that's a 1/4. So now you're up to 7.5 OD at the band, and then add maybe another 1/16 or so just for good measure. That's how you determine the outside OD at the band. Then what I do, once I get the shape on a piece of paper, I'll take it and draw it on a piece of 1/4 inch plywood and cut it out. And I'll save it. When I go to bend the hat, I've got that template of the size of the head, and as I'm squeezing it in, I'll keep using that template till I got it elongated enough where it will sit in there, and then just keep squeezing it in with the bender till you get it, hopefully you can get it to this size. And that's the hardest part. I had one hat I was making for this guy. His head was shaped like a football. I kid you not, it was 8 1/4 long and 5.5 wide. So you got to turn it to the long dimension, right? So man, I'm trying to squeeze this thing in, it's not going. It was a piece of wet wood. So I called up Johannes at home and said, hey, I got this problem, have you ever encountered that? And he goes, yes, I have. I said, what you do? And I had it in the bender for 2 days and it just wasn't moving enough. He said, take it out of the bender, soak it in a tub of hot water, as hot as you can get. So if you have to boil some water, boil it. Dump it in there, soak it 10, 15 minutes. Take it back out, put it in your bender. And he says, when you soak it, all the shape you had in the brim is going to flatten out. And it did. Within an hour of it being back in the bender, it was bent to the shape where it was when I took it out of the bender the first time. Overnight, it was squeezed into the shape I needed. I couldn't believe it. But it worked. So, yeah, if it's not bending enough, and I'll talk about the bending when I get to it, but you don't want to force it. The wood's going to bend at the rate it wants to bend, and if you try and force it, you got a lot of pieces of wood that are not together anymore.
Yeah. Start over.
Yeah, start over.
All right. Comes in 10-cent piece. I'm
Bottom of the top, you can't see.
okay, my fluke's pointed straight up, right? Straight up in the air. I'm using right here at the tip. Okay? Right, it's a big no-no for other gouges, right?
Hold it up right there.
I can't see the monitor's not working. So I'm using this edge right here, right there. And see with this grind, this back corner's tucked in out of the way, it's not going to catch like a conventional gouge would. Once I get my brightness there, I can go a little bit faster. Shear strength just to slam it in. I think I'm still a little too thick here. Sure needs to be able to move, eh? Take a hair more there. All I'm looking at there is trying to see where I got to go up inside the hat. I'm going to core this center out and we'll make a mini hat out of that. Sure Mr. Chuck's still tight.
Good.
Okay. Another quarter.
While he stops it, he knows it'll fly out of there
Yeah, I don't want it hitting that broom.
before it comes off. Has to break it loose.
There it is, mini hat, Mike. The mini hats you need, if you're just doing your own blank, you're not coring, 6.5, 7-inch diameter, about 3.5 inches tall. Would be enough wood to make a mini hat. Here's where the light will start getting brighter as you get. I'm thick. I'm still thick right there. Good call. Now, can you see where the light stops there? Well, that's where I got to go up into the hat. You can, if you're tall enough, you can look up and look down and see it. But again, when I start turning this, if I turn it to the same brightness, it won't be thin enough right there. Going up into the hat, you want the flute pointed. Angle of the flute pointed straight in the direction you're cutting, just like on the outside rim of the bowl when you're going in. It's completely rolled over, flute's pointing up that way, and the angle of your tip is parallel with the leg bed. That won't skate on it. The handle's up. Okay, I'm going to check that there. I know I'm thick, but I want to see how thick I am. Actually, a little thick all the way up through there. Okay, I'm on the band right there. See, I'm a good 3/16 too thick. That. Am I in the camera's way there when I'm clear over here? Okay. I can see the band I burnished now, you see it? That's about the same brightness there, but it's going to get brighter. Hopefully not too bright.
You're weird little funnel, Mike.
You got a frisbee and a fez.
Mike, do you ever get nervous making that last cut?
Yes. Do you not see me holding my breath?
Never called the last.
Still a little thick out here. Once I'm in there just a little bit, I can roll it back over. Close now. Yes. I like it. I'll let that a little bit too.
5-minute break while he's sharpening, and then we're gonna do the raffle now.
We got 5 raffle tickets left. Dave Farragut isn't here, that's the reason.
No, you keep doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is boring part.
Yeah. No, you keep doing it.
Anybody else? We got 3 left. close.
All right.
How we doing?
Yeah, have the crowd calm down. Thank you for allowing us to do that.
Oh, we're good. All right, I'm just about up to, I am up to the top of my hat. Do this. There, you guys see in there now? Okay, I gotta finish off this dome part here, and this is a little bit too long yet, but I'm up in the corner, I'm up to the top, and the way I approach that is you gotta cut back on it this way. You get up here as far as you can get, you don't wanna get over into that, so I'll roll the gouge over and start out here and work this here slope, if you will, till I get to my point, and then I can scrape back, shear scrape down that side a little bit. And then what you want on this, the top here, you want it domed a little bit, okay? So it's domed on the outside, right? So dished out on the inside. And you want it so that when you turn the outside of the hat, the top of that dome does not stick up above the top here, okay, where it rolls around. You want it called a recessed dome, if you will. So, tool I use for that, good old easy wood tool. I can get in there and make that dome with that. It's hard to do with a regular gouge. You really just can't. Michelson uses a termite tool and comes across. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to take
Round one, right?
the round one. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. I mean, you know, if you've got any other type of hollowing tools, I guess, that you like that would do that, you can use them, but that's what I have, so that's what I use. All right, I'm just going to clean this up a little bit in here. Ridge right there. Kind of hold it still. This is coming down a little too far, so I'm going to raise that up a little bit. It's nice for you to get that as smooth as you can inside here. That's really hard to sand, that top part. Dang, man. I got a little hump right there to take out. You always got that little hump in the bottom, don't you? Check that I do just to see how much I got it done. They just hold a straight edge across there. And I've got maybe not quite a quarter inch, so I know for sure I'll be below my top rim there. Okay. Paul, what'd you do with my big calipers? There they are. Put them right where you're not supposed to put them, right?
Last place you looked there, Mike.
Yeah. Get over that bend. Yeah. She's a little thick. We're gonna live with it, because I'm gonna show you how we do the top. She's a little heavy. She's a little heavy. All right, Paul. White truck time.
We didn't understand. Oh, okay, that's what it's standing on.
That's pretty neat.
Oh, yeah, that's what I like, yeah. Give me this was a piece of maple, turn a number 2 Morse taper on it, drill a 3/8 hole or big enough to get the light rod through. Stick it right there, and it'll go inside there. You'll see in a minute why. Okay, Mr. Light Rod. Oh, 3/8 light rod, socket on there, Home Depot. Washer, I need 1 washer. Now, this has a bearing on it, and the bearing, I really don't need it with this one. It worked. This was the first one that Michelson used, and I don't know where the camera is. It has a recess in here for the bearing to fit in, okay, a snug fit. That's what that bearing is for. This chuck works a lot better. Just flat jaws on a Talon chuck, probably a stronghold chuck might be better, but it seems to work just fine. And in the AAW booklet, Michelson has a good directions for making this chuck. I did it a little bit different than. I didn't put my washer on, Paul. Too busy talking to you. Just that washer that'll ride against that wood number 2 Morse taper. Yeah. This piece here, wood block turn with a bearing in it, same size bearing there. Can't remember where I got these bearings. I think it was a place called down in Columbus called Motion Industries. They have everything to do with conveyor belts and whatnot, but that's where I got these bearings from. It was just the inside OD was big enough to go over that 3/8 lamp rod. And then this part fits into the 5/8 hole in the hand wheel here. Another little washer. The most technical part of the whole thing. A pair of vice grips, you can use a pair of spring clamps. It's just to hold the rod in place. See, this doesn't spin. That's held in place, all that spins right around it. Quick connect adapter. Again, Home Depot, Lowe's, electrical supply house, I don't know, wherever. We got light? We got light. And before I started using these compact fluorescents, I was using, the regular bulbs. They heat up. So you had to be careful. You didn't want them on too long, or it would heat up the inside of the hat.
Have you tried the LEDs yet?
I have not, and I'm sure they would be.
They're even cooler.
Yeah.
You want your tail saw?
You know what? I might need that shorter bulb, Paul.
Another equipment.
Yeah.
What kind of wood did you make the jaws out of there?
These were, I think, 2x6s or something, whatever I had. Yeah, probably a hardwood would be better, but
You need tailstock up here, right?
yes. Now, you don't want to get over rambunctious on the tightening here. Just enough to hold.
These are very tight.
That's right. Use the right key for that, Chuck. Okay.
You want the other light off, Mike?
Nah, we're good. We're good. I think I got that tightened on there.
There you go, that's better. Now you can see the light shining through.
Okay, I'll hold on to this so I can run it in a little bit without putting too much pressure on it. It'll cut its own little groove there. Now we're good. Hey, that ain't too bad. We're gonna make it work. You gotta take some light touch here. You don't want to get over rambunctious on this part. Oh, my dome's in there somewhere. Now, here's the other thing you gotta be careful about on the top. There's no end grain, so it's not gonna be as bright as this side out here. Okay, so you gotta watch that. There's another test you can do when I get closer here. Other test is the oil can test, see if it flexes any. And it's not flexing yet, so we're gonna keep cutting.
Close enough.
Everybody nervous, man.
About another 64th, what do you think?
Don't try to make it better.
Remember, the enemy of good is better.
Okay, good enough. I think I can take some more off this outside, but
Rest it up, you don't know what it says to me last night.
I want to say.
At this point, I'd done sand the whole thing while I was running here, because it was very wet, so I can go all the way up to 320. It's a lot easier sanding when it's on the leg. I wouldn't hit the band at all. I think that's a little rough out there too.
On the very top of the hat, the ring of the light and dark, is that grain? It's in grain that makes it,
Yeah, here, I mean, you don't want to go really, really thin right here at this point either.
no, the ring is inside, that,
Here or
Yeah.
here?
no, the first, yeah,
Here?
yeah.
Yeah, I could, if I was home, I'd thin that out a little bit more.
No, that's not my question. Part of it looks like it's almost there, the other part looks like you've got a way to go on that ring.
Is there a difference in grade?
Yeah, this is your end grain here, so more light's coming through.
Okay. all right,
Yes,
okay, thank you.
yes. Right on the mark. She's heavy. That's a heavy one there. Don't use plywood, it's too springy. The guy when I had made out of plywood, I changed it over, made it out of poplar. These things just cut kind of, you know, some kind of curve on it so it'll squeeze the hat in. And this is plywood, just a piece to span here and a piece out here and a piece of all thread. Brother-in-law does.
It's paid for us by our tax dollars, right?
That's it, tax dollars at work.
One of the post offices are losing money.
This tape, it's stretchy. Well, hey, yeah, it's real stretchy. When I get the hat back, I'll show you. You want to stretch these across the end grain, because that's where it's going to crack. It's going to crack right on the end grain, which is running this direction through the hat. As you start squeezing in, the front and back of the hat will actually droop down on their own as it squeezes in, okay? And then I'll show you stretch the rubber bands across it to get the rest of the curve in the brim. Straight.
The finished product sell for?
Well, if you go Hannes Michelson, you can get $1,000.
Okay.
Me, I've gotten $250 to $300.
But at least.
If you look on the internet, you won't see them for less than $500. Good. Okay, so that's what you got right there.
Where are most of your clientele from that buy cowboy hats?
What's that?
So where are most of your clientele from that buy cowboy hats?
If somebody has some money they don't mind spending,
You know, I haven't tried it. We have that quarter horse show in Columbus every year at the fairgrounds. And that would probably be the ideal place to get a booth, but I think they're pretty expensive, the booths to rent. And all right, that's about it. That's about it.
Your thumb hurts?
A little bit. Yeah,
It's a check.
these are 7.5-inch rubber bands. That one's going to break. Michelson sells these, a pack of them for $20. His are a little bit thicker. These I got at Staples. They seem to work just fine.
They were $20 on that.
I got them. Actually, I would put the tape on first. This is where the tape goes on right here. Set one side, stretch it out. All that's doing is putting pressure that way.
You want to stretch it towards the center?
Yeah, you want it pulling in.
And the purpose again is to keep it from sitting at those points?
Yeah, that's the weakest point right there on that end grain. So it's just another safety measure. It may crack it even with this, but
And the residue from the tape post office.
yes, the residue from the tape will get on there, but mineral spirits takes it right off. Just wipe some mineral spirits and it takes it right off. Because even though I sand this on the lathe, you have to hand sand it when it's done. Because a lot of them are a lot wetter than what this one was. And sometimes you can't do too much sanding on the lathe.
What do you use for a finish?
I use General Finishes, the wipe-on poly, the satin sheen from, I'm sure, Woodcraft. Do you have Woodcraft stores here in Pennsylvania?
Rockler.
Okay, Rockler sells it, yep. The Armor Seal, it's called Armor Seal. Yeah. Now I'm holding out here a little bit. The two knots there, get them centered on the brim as it starts to bend. I'll do another one on the back side. And if you gotta kind of babysit these things. So like I'll take this in the house and let it set as I'm watching TV or something or whatever, and just kind of keep an eye on them and make sure it's bending evenly. And if it's not, you just adjust these rubber bands. If this side's bending more than this side, then take this knot up here and you're loosening this side, tightening this side, and try to get your bend to even out. But I would leave that just like that.
Now, how long does this take?
I'll normally leave them in the bender 3 days, 3 or 4 days. And say like the second day, I'll take one of them clip-on shop lights with an incandescent bulb, so it's putting some heat out, and set it underneath here and let it heat up and start drying that wood out, and you'll see it'll start bending more as it dries.
And do you change your position of your rubber bands, or do you leave them there?
If it's bending right, no, they'll stay just like that. And I'll add another one in the center and just hook it here on the all thread. And then if
You don't lower that center part either, you just leave it the same.
yeah, it stays there and just keep tightening it as it loosens up, as it bends in. These would go, if the brim's starting to, or even if you want the back part to flatten out and, look a little different style cowboy hat. Put two there, put one here in the middle, and stretch one of them 7.5-inch rubber bands around them. And it'll straighten this out and straighten that part out. What else?
You do that now, or do you do that?
No, I do it after it bends a little bit. See how it's bending. Yeah. A lot of the last few I've done, I haven't even used these at all.
How long does it take to dry before you finish it?
Well, like I say, maybe 3 or 4 days in the bender. I put a light under it, maybe put a light over it till because it's so thin it doesn't take long to dry, even if it was soaking wet. 3 to 4 days it's dry enough to take out of here and hand sand it to
I'll go 320, 400, probably 400 grit, and then use that wipe on general finish. I like the satin because, I don't know, for a hat I just don't like a real glossy finish on it.
Would you spray this with, as dry
I have.
as this one is, would you spray this?
With water, you mean?
Yes.
This one, when I get it home, I'm probably gonna soak it.
We'll soak it.
I'll soak it in some really hot water and get it to bend a little bit.
How long do you need to
Just
soak?
thick. About 10, 15 minutes. I mean, again, it's so thin, it doesn't take long for the water to soak in. And when you do that, of course, you won't be able to put the tape back. The tape will probably come off. And I'll take an air hose and dry off this portion so I can put tape back on it.
You want to put a cleft in the top? No?
I don't see how you can do it. It's spinning around, all you can get is circles.
No, I mean, but to bend it in.
Yeah, it won't matter. No, if you're stuck with this style I had, you could carve it. If you want to do carving, you could probably carve it. Yeah, no, I know the style you're talking about.
No, it looks
The
good.
Stetson hat, but, yeah. I wanted to try and do a fire helmet. I'm a retired firefighter. And when I first started this, I thought, man, you know what, I could make fire helmets and sell them for retirement gifts to guys retiring. Well, I haven't come up with a way to do that without doing a bunch of carving. And I'm not a